No idea what's going on. All I know is a little past when I wanted to start here. So just come with me real quick so I can get this glare off my head into the dark. And you thought you lost me. Nope, you didn't lose me. I'm in the other room. Trying to find something to wear. I usually find. Oh, something just fell. It's called my marbles. You know, my question is, when do you not see me with a cap on? Seriously, right? It's the guy with the red glasses. And now you don't see me. And now you see me again. Oh man, live. This going live thing, I mean, I did say I was going to be live, and that was as of yesterday, right? I kept the promise. I am here. For those who were watching tonight, Nuggets won tonight 122 to 112, if I remember correctly. It was a good game. Well fought. Get my shit together. Oh my god. This thing that's on my neck here is supposed to help me with my therapy. So when I say therapy, I mean not mental therapy. I'm talking physical or mental. You could probably say mental, but I wouldn't go that far. I'm just doing what I can, just to keep myself going today. Yeah, I'd say my back is acting up. But this thing, what this does is helps actually with the extension of my foot. And with the extension of my foot, well, hopefully it can help, me from stop being a klutz, so to speak. And I'm not a klutz, trust me. If you saw me, physically saw me, not on this live thing here, you would see I am a klutz. So, it is what it is. What I mean? Oh, God. What I mean is that this thing is for exercising. What I need to do with this, I have something called drop foot. Hi, how's everyone doing tonight? What I'm saying, what do I mean is that this is used for my foot. This can also be used for exercising, but not for my head. Yeah, I know. It sounds weird, but it does work. Trust me. So, but how's everyone doing tonight? Is everyone doing good? I hope. Uh, I'm doing good despite wearing this thing. I just thought, use some sort of, uh, not, I wouldn't say a prop by all means. It's something that, it's used in exercising, whether for physical or occupational therapy. You're given something like that in order to help, whether it's with muscular or, stretching on a muscle, or even takes place of, depending on the person, it takes place as far as weights are concerned. It's considering with my back, I really can't lift weights. So, I wish I had a bigger camera for this. I need a new camera for, I need a new computer, period, is what I need. But this will stretch out. Well, as you can see, it's stretched out anyway. But some people can use it for the neck, but it really doesn't do much of anything when you use it for your neck. So, anyway. So when I talked to you all last week, what do I usually do? Well, there are times, depending on how I'm feeling, I play the Switch. I've been trying to get into the GameCube, not GameCube, the Xbox. I always get the. I don't know why I get those confused, but the that I'm like all thumbs with that controller with the Xbox. So want to get myself going with that better. Then I'll do something. But otherwise, what do I do? I'm an entertainer. I play sports. Well, I used to play sports, but I talk sports, especially when it comes to football, basketball, a little bit baseball. A hell of a series last week. Uh, you know, I have to try to stay. Uh, you know, what was I voting for the series? I was rooting for Toronto. I thought they would be able to pull it out, but it didn't happen that way. But congratulations to the Dodgers. And I think it's time for this computer to turn off that I have in here with me. So, but it's you know, like I said, congratulations to the Dodgers. One thing with baseball, it is hard to win back to back, and the Dodgers did what the Big Red Machine did in the 70s. I love Jesus too. Your comment. I didn't even think I saw a comment. Nina. I'm going back. Uh, yeah, I didn't see a comment there, Nina. But I do want to say hello. How you doing tonight? Everyone else is listening. Obviously, I'm seeing, quite a few people on tonight. Uh, now that we're in back into sometimes three football, basketball, and hockey. And I understand hockey, but I still I have someone who's teaching me a little bit more that I understand about hockey. But go Avalanche. Um, Basketball I played, and I played baseball or softball, whatever you want to look at it. Uh, Football. And it just, but my main love, growing up though was music. I played the piano because if anyone has ever seen, that I do have some videos on here for what I've recorded. And for me, it's just, for me, I'm not talking about myself. What I want to talk about is, how everyone can make themselves a better person. Stay positive. What's my job? Right now, I am disabled. That's what my job is. The theremin, that is a good instrument. I don't hear about it too much, but it's a great, that is a great instrument to play. And just, if no one has heard it too much, hey, pull it up on Google the theremin, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's To me, it's kind of like haunting. It's got a great sound to it. Uh, Kind of hard to describe. Let me, you know, I want to check on something here real quick. So, but and we just need to, for me, it's about people, everyone getting better. And I've talked to kids, what they can do to, make themselves better. One thing, I have dabbled in with for the past week is, and this is the subject of the night, AI. Well, that stuff is scary, but if you can actually do things which are fun. My password just does not want to work tonight. So, how's everyone else doing tonight? I seem a little unorganized, unfortunately. Why do I decide to entertain such a small fan base without quitting? It's called determination. If someone doesn't have determination and believes in what they do, then you don't, you know, then you don't believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, you can do what you want. You never know what can change. Am I right? Yeah, yeah. And for me, it's more of a, if I can do it, you can do it as well. All right. If you don't want to be a creator, then don't be a creator. I mean, for me, it's a small thing that I've done, and then I keep on doing it. If I believe in myself, and I want everyone else to believe in themselves. I'm not asking anyone to I mean, if you don't want to listen, you don't have to listen. You can leave. That's how I look at it. If I have something to build up on, and find something that resonates, that everyone wants to listen to, or whatever the case may be, then that's fine. I'm all for it. I just decide to be a positive person and not be toxic. If no one wants a toxic person, then I'm a great person to listen to. Am I toxic? No. Why? Because we need more people out there that are positive, that can be part of uh, the greater wealth of the world, and that greater wealth is up here, and that's knowledge. All right, that's how I feel about it. I've had yes, and I do have followers. Okay, I love to build it up. And the things what helps me also is they have the music on here. So if you don't want to listen to me, I mean, you can also listen to the music. I mean, I have the class of 1980s, which is a whole bunch of 80s music, some 90s, some from today, or just even a mix of different things or what I've done in the past. I mean, not make sense most of the time, but I do what I can. Even my friends, ask me, do I realize if I don't make any sense or not? At first, no, I don't. I realized, it didn't make any sense. And then all of a sudden I changed and decided to go by a script and go from there. All right. 12, 3. See, and this is the part that drives me nuts. When you're trying to no wonder why. Okay, I see what I'm doing wrong. I see what I'm doing wrong. I mean, it's just, see, and the problems with with the Apple computers is, I go by two different servers here. Okay, one is I do for school, which I'm in right now, which I'm trying to get myself out of, and then get into what I enjoy more than anything else, and that is get myself organized. And I am organized tonight. The problem is what I'm trying to do here is what I had scripted out shut off on me. So that's why I seem a little tonight. And I'm getting a little pissed off too, for that matter. So I'm trying this again. So going back to my other server, by that, and let's see what happens. But see, so tonight I'm not making sense. But what I'm trying to make sense of is that I'm more like someone. Just consider me as a friend, someone Hey, you know. Oh, I know it can reflect on my computer. That's why I'm trying to work on this here. Uh, I'm going back and forth. I mean, I mean, my glasses are off now, so that we can't even see what's going on my computer. So, not much, Drew. How you doing? I'm trying to get a glare off my glasses, which hopefully I did, where everyone can see me without having to deal with the glare. Put it on my cap so no one sees the glare off my head. And sounds good. See, and I'm kind of like, kind of one of those late guys, I mean, you see a lot of people that's on during the day. For me, I prefer nighttime. So, I mean, some people don't even make sense at night. Sometimes some people are just drunk. I'm a late night guy. So I'm just, doing what I can. You mean, if you ask, if someone's asking me here, why I have such a small fan base, and why, I keep on doing what I'm doing. It's something I love doing. You know, sometimes we just gotta follow our instincts. Hey, if I can get more subscribers by doing this, by listening, oh, you're very welcome. Oh yeah, I'm keeping with it. I'm keeping with it. For me, it's one of those things that, I mean, when I get something that I'm usually good with when it comes to talking sports. One thing that I would like to do, if you can't log into your computer because you forgot your password, you can reset it now. I just want to restart this thing. So, you're very welcome. Let- let- glad I'm here for you. And that's the main thing, is being here for everyone. Uh, I'm kind of like a shoulder to, someone to talk to. Someone, who listens. Anyone has any uh, questions that I can help them out with, that's fine. But don't give me any. Don't any asking me any math questions, because the best I can do is beginning algebra, and that's it. Otherwise, anything else, I stink at it. Well, I can. Well, besides that, I know how to budget my. Oh, I'm in Colorado. I'm in Colorado. So it's just. I will definitely, Drew. I will definitely. You know. I will definitely. Take you up on that. Yeah. For me, Let's see, what classes. Here's a question for me. What? Okay, this is a little off script, but what classes, when you're in school, either now or before, were are your strongest? What are your strongest classes when you were in school, and when you were in, and when, if you're not in school anymore, when you think back, which classes were you felt comfortable in, and and if you had issues with those classes, what did you do to make yourself better? So, I mean, it's a fair question, I think. I'm not too sure. Physics, nice. Yeah, for me, if I knew it, I actually didn't do bad in physics when I was in middle school. Actually, for me, yeah, math is, it's challenging for a lot of people. For me, sometimes for me, I'll freeze up, kind of like an anxiety type of thing, and uh, and this was in the past, but with the classes that I've taken, right? It is a universal language. You got numbers. You're always working with numbers. Doesn't matter what. Especially, you know, you need to budget your. One thing we're doing every year, or every day, I should say, is budgeting finances. That I'm good at, and I think if you can budget your finances, then you're halfway there. Or some people, three-quarters of the way there. So, but yeah, but with math and I'm like a deer in the headlights. But it's, I think it'd be fun if you do this, if you have math a certain way. Uh, oh, you got that one right, Drew. You really got that one right. I agree with you on that one. And it's either you understand it or you don't understand it, or if you can do it, great. If you don't do it, at least you can try. It's that little saying, do or do not, there is no try. You just got to try it. At least say that, you attempted it. And if you don't understand it, then, tutoring. There's nothing wrong with tutoring. I got some tutoring. And so I'm this close of not graduating, but, passing the class. But now I'm working with formulas and, oh, heaven help me, I have no idea I'm not a deer in the headlights. I really feel like someone took me Frankenstein, basically, even though it's past Halloween. I'm more or less, uh, I feel like I've been electrocuted. I've been zapped. I got that look in my eyes, and this look I get is more, it's like, oh, what the hell am I getting myself involved with? But, it is, you know, it is, if you're passionate about something, anyone can do it. Math, uh, music, anything with entertainment, sports, if you believe in yourself, you can do it. I was mentioning this last week on Noah's Live. If you're playing football, and you're young and all that, and you believe that you could do what you're doing, and you can go pro, follow your dreams. Same goes with baseball, basketball, hockey, any sport you can think of, you can do it. Same thing goes with instruments. If you want to learn something, I mean, to me, I think, probably, you know, you have universal instruments, I mean, people I know play more, drums, uh, guitar, piano, keyboards, electric guitar, even though electric guitar, the same thing, but then you have acoustic guitar. So they're different types. You just need to, find what, you know, what you want to play, you know, team sports, you know, what do you want to play? Uh, if you want to do it, just do it. You know, there's nothing more trying. Hmm. And that's what, yeah. See, music is. I agree with you, Joe. I mean, it's for me. I played piano since I was like 6 years old. And that for me, that was something I believed in. I played softball for, I guess, about 6 years. Football is more or less like a neighborhood football. Played good 3 years of that, but I tried for, in high school. No, with my height, I was like what 5'7", and I enjoyed playing. How can I put it? I enjoyed, you know, if I were to play something, it would have been defensive line. And with my height, there's no way someone who's 5'7" and 185 pounds at the time is going to be playing defensive line. I was better off, like a running back, and I was never really the fastest person. So that's the reason why I played softball or baseball. It's something I got involved with, and then as I, got older, my son played baseball, little league. I was coached with that for a good few years, and for me, it was something that I enjoyed doing. As a father, helping kids out, and coaching. From one of my strengths actually was conditioning. Working out, doing different things here. For me, that was the important part to me than anything else. Is make sure, because some kids out there won't condition first. Got to stretch and work out. Got to keep yourself in good shape. And you're going to keep on playing. So we'd run around the field maybe a couple times, but before we start running around, on the speed part, we need to stretch first. That it is. That it is. See, and with music, you know, it's not really so much about stretching and all that. It's more or less, just, practicing scales and, doing what you learn when you're younger, as you get older, you get there's it's difficult. It's difficult. I can tell you what. I tell you that one thing. I mean, like I said, I played when I was 6 years old. When I played guitar for the first time, I was in middle school, actually. So I was, let's see, 17, 16, 14. I was 12 years old when I played for the first time. And everyone looked, my dad wanted me to play. I'm like, sure, why not? Because he had a guitar at the time. I figured I'll give it a shot. You know, I didn't even know what I was doing, for whatever the case may be. All I know is you got to hold it a certain way. You have your frets, you got to move your fingers around and all that, and realize that, you know, scales, on the guitar is so much different than playing on the piano because you're trying to look at your fingers, make sure everything's done. You're like, is that okay? Does that even look right? And you're looking all the time because you don't have a mirror in front of you, unless you're at home and then you're practicing, which I did. Uh, and whereas with the piano, you have everything right in front of you, so you can like watch what you're doing. But in piano, it's. I mean, I personally, for me, I think anyone can, learn music. Uh, I do want to learn how to play the ukulele. Truth be known, I want to learn how to play the ukulele. A good friend of mine, she plays the ukulele, and I told her I would learn with her. Uh, she didn't believe me, but it's a matter of saving money in order to get so. Exactly, exactly. I was watching Steve Martin the other night on TV. He was guesting on. Right, right. I get that, Jared. I really do. And with music, I mean, I just believe anyone can do it if if you try hard enough. Uh, Banjo, I think it would be amazing. Guitar is harder. I agree with that because you're dealing with more strings, frets. I mean, it's just there's so many different ways a person can play. Interesting. Uh, with White Snake, actually, here's a lot of interesting. I think Still the Night. I think the name of it is. I can't. I'm gonna have to look that one up. But one of the band members actually was playing the guitar instead of fingers and all that. Wound up using a violin string. And Still the Night is the name of the song. If you listen to it, and it goes, you have the music bridge there, where you go from toward the end of the song, and you hear it, and it sounds like a eerie bass music, but that was played by a string and all that. It's amazing when you listen to it, And when I heard it for the first time, I was thinking, okay, so it's either just a really deep based uh, bass that I'm listening to because or cello. That's what it was. I'm thinking. I was thinking about the cello because the person was like, "So, who plays the cello on a heavy metal band?" But hey, something. You can get people listening to you. You're playing heavy metal. It doesn't matter what instrument you're playing because you still have people that are playing music. I mean, they can do. It's amazing where their talents can bring themselves. I mean, I could have tested myself in many different things, and then I think to myself right now, I wonder what it'd be like if I took one of those bows from a violin and tried to play the strings in a piano. Hmm, it'd sound really crazy, that's for sure. But but yeah, I've God, many people that the drums. I was in a band back in the '80s. Didn't last too long because for me, exactly. I remember reading that one time. Just and John Lennon, he's amazing. One of the best artists. I mean, and definitely ahead of his time and taken way too early. I mean, he just he resonated so much with a lot of people as far as like, peace, especially with that song, Give Peace a Chance, especially, let's see, there's that song for the holidays, War is Over, or Happy Christmas, you know, it's just, it's one of my favorite songs of all time for the holidays. Uh, or there are many more actually for the holidays I enjoy as well. But uh, God, yeah, I understand, Drew. No, I mean, thank you for subscribing. Definitely. And since we've talked about, thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, and for me, and I'm really thinking about doing this more and more on Wednesday nights, is going live. Unfortunately, tonight I just was a little uh, unscripted, but I think one thing they can realize that that's universal is music. And more than anything else, Drew, thank you for, talking with me tonight. I really appreciate that. It's a big up. Gives everyone, so you can watch retro, at Retro Rockstar. Uh, their family members call me Crazy Uncle Rod, or you can just call me. Uh, Definitely, Drew. Definitely. Thank you. And we could probably talk philosophical about music, and anyone else who wants to as well too. I mean, I can talk about music. Oh God, especially recently with John Lodge, who was recently passed away with the Mini Blues, which is my favorite band of all time. To give you an idea, pretty much like a mellow person when it comes to music, but you never know, when I'll pop up with something. I'm working on my voice again, so you never know when I'm going to start singing again. Scary thought, but you never know. So I can, you never know when I'm going to wind up popping on with a duet with a friend of mine too, female. But hey, I've done duets with men too. I used to be in a band, and I used to do background vocals. It's all in fun. If you enjoy doing something, do it. You do it, man. Yeah, we just need to do it and have fun with it. I mean, if you have a talent and you want to follow through with it, you do it. At least, and if you can't do it, at least you tried. And that's what you can say is at least you tried. You know, you don't want to give up. You don't want to give up too quickly. Just keep on going. Hey, look at me. Okay, I have a small fan base, but I'm still willing. Okay, Drew. Yeah, I'll talk to you soon. I understand you got to get going. All right. All right. Thank you, Drew. I will. I will, and I will be here. I will be here. You know, talking talking music and sports, and you know, of course, again, if I didn't have the glare off my computer, I'd be wearing my red glasses too. Of course, everyone said, when I was talking last week, I had these on, but I was, down a little bit more, or, you know, that glare wasn't coming off my glasses. So, and, we just need to, keep going. Got to keep going. It's part of life. Yeah, I mean, I've been told I look younger than I am, and I'm thinking to myself, how young do I look? And I was told I looked like I was, I'm truth be known, I'm 58 years old, just turned 58 recently. And I've been told recently that actually look like around 50, 52 years old. It's like, well, okay, well, that's great that I look that way, but my body doesn't feel that way sometimes. My body feels more like more, well, more the age that I'm at right now, maybe even older. It just depends. Yeah. So, but like I said, my family called me Crazy Uncle Rod, but to consider me, my name's Rodney, and it, you know, I've had a couple of viewers that actually actually who I was, and realized that you're the guy from YouTube. Yes, I am. I live in Colorado. You know where I'm at now. You know where I live, but you don't know exactly where I live. But it was kind of cool actually. It's like, hey, I met some fans at least, and a few times, I'm far from a I'm far from uh, in the spotlight or anything like that. You see, like a movie star or anything like that, or true. I mean, I can be a true musician again. I mean, it won't take long for me to do that. I can tell you that much. I can still get in touch with I mean, I've talked to a couple of friends who would, were more than happy to get into it, into being in a band again. Actually, one of them actually is does perform on the weekends, and when I start getting better, I'm planning on joining him sometime and just see how things are. Uh, ask me to play with him. I'm more than happy to. I can tell you that much. Because for me, I mean, that's oh man, for me that would be great. Being live and doing things and all that. I never done it before. Doing live. Well, scratch that. Yes, I have. I have. I've been asked to play at a few weddings in the past. Let's see, holidays. I used to play. It was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it. So I mean, could I do it again? Probably. So, and I just, it's like I say, like I said, I go by Yoda, to quote, do or do not, there is no try. If you try it, that means you've attempted it, and at least you've tried it, you know. If you don't try, then don't do it. you know, I mean, we do things for a reason in life, right? We do. And for me, it's part of how we should enjoy life. Be part, and do things to help others, also to entertain others. I mean, for me, I mean, yeah, I can be funny. Tonight, not so much, obviously, because I was a little disorganized at the beginning, but I finally got my shit together and, started talking about something that, I know about. And, I can talk about a lot of things, but music and sports, definitely. So, and I'm just hanging in there with everyone tonight. What time is it anyway? Let me check on something here. I know I'm, 38 minutes into this here, and let's see, it is 10:49. Well, because I was supposed to start at 10, so at least I'm doing something here. And since I started a little late, I decided, I'd go a little bit later tonight. Because what I'm trying to do is trying to keep this to a half hour. So, and I'm coming up to that half hour here, actually a little over a half hour. But, hey, you know, during the week, I kind of figured this out. I do my, do my short, my shorts, the 2 minute drill on there. Or close to 3 minutes, between 2 or 3 minutes. But it's a short that I put on explaining what I'll be doing for the week. And then, of course, seek me out at Retro Rockstar. And, the music that I have from the 80s, 90s, today, 70s, 60s. Hey, if you don't want to listen to me, I have a whole bunch of great music from those decades that, that I have on here. I don't, if I found every single song from those decades, I'd still be on here trying to put on what I could find. So, but by putting things on, I also have to, make a, should I say, an exit now, because it's 40 minutes. Like I said, a little over half hour since I started a little late. So, but until next week, I'll do my short on Tuesday, and then I'll be going live on Wednesday. Until then, you have a great night and stay sharp. Remember, love y'all out there and thank you for joining. Have a good night or good day, depending where you're at. And on that note, have a good night.